Hello guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in today's video we're going to be drafting a trouser. It's a baggy trouser, and as you can see, it's looking good. So guys, kindly like, share and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and let's get straight into the video. So guys, first things first, you're going to measure out your vertical measurements. I'm starting my measurements from the edge of the fabric, and my hip point is 8 inches. I've marked that out. 11 inches is my crotch measurement, and we're going to draw the lines out. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead right now and straighten those lines just as you see me doing. So guys, this is what we have. Next thing we're going to be doing is to measure my hip divide by 4. So my hip divide by 4 is 9 inches, and I'm going to be placing that on the hip point line. Okay, so my hip divide by 4 is 9 inches, and I'll place that on my hip point line. Okay, and then I'm going to be adding 3 inches. Okay, I'm going to be adding 3 inches to this. This is for the baggy. Okay, I want it to be very big. I added 3 inches to that, and then I'm going to take what I have on my hip point line. I'm going to raise that to the waist. Okay, so I have 12 inches there, and I'm just taking that 12 inches up to the waistline. Okay, so guys, I'm going to connect both points together just like this. So guys, this is what you ought to have. Next thing we're going to do is to elongate the crotch line. I'm gonna head to elongate that, and then next thing we're going to do is to place the same 12 inches that we have on the hip. I'm going to bring that to the crotch line. Okay, so you're going to place the 12 inches, and then I'm going to be adding 2 inches to that so that I can get my crotch curve. Okay, so just add 2 inches. If you're bigger than me, you can make this wider. Okay, it all depends on your size. I'm a slim person and I want this to be very big. Okay, so guys, this is what we have, and you're going to curve that into the line you drew earlier. So just go ahead and curve it out like this. So guys, this is what you ought to have. Next thing we're going to be doing is to measure what we have for the length. Okay, so for my length is 42 inches. Okay, the length of my trousers is 42 inches, and I added 2 inches for the hemming. Okay, the trouser is going to be very long because, as you can see, I didn't take out the 2 inches for band, and we're going to roll this out. So when I add that 2 inches for band, my trouser length is going to be around 44 inches. So you can see it's going to be really long. Okay, and then I roll that line out. My hem line is going to be big, so when you're hemming trousers, ensure that you hem it with about 2 inches. Okay, and then what we have at the crotch, I'm just going to take it down to the end of the trousers. Okay, and we'll connect it like this. Okay guys, this is what you ought to have. So next thing we're going to be doing is to come in by 1 inch at the waistline in order to shape the hip part. Okay, and then I'm going to slant that into my hip point. Okay, this is going to give the side of the trousers a little curve. You know, your hip is not straight now. Okay, so this is what we ought to have. Right now we're just going to curve that out, and then we're going to go ahead and cut. Okay, so guys, this is what you ought to have. Now at the midpoint of the trousers, I'm going to come down by ½ inch, and then I'm going to slant that into the side of the trousers just as you see me doing. Now this is optional, you can do this or you can leave it, but for me I did it. So we're going to cut this out. Okay, So guys, this is what you ought to have. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to cut the back of these trousers. I'm gonna head to place my back, and then I'm gonna head to place the front on top. As you can see, I left a little bit of allowance at the top, and then I'm going to come up by 1.5 inches there, and we're going to slant that into the edge of the trousers, just as you see me doing. Okay, you're going to slant it like this so that the back is higher than the front at the waist. The back waist ought to be higher than the front at the waist so that it can balance. Okay, so guys, this is what you ought to have. Next thing we're going to be doing is to be adding 2 inches to the back. Okay, so for your trousers, the back of your trousers is supposed to be bigger than the front of your trousers. Okay, so I'm going to add 2 inches to that. As you can see, I'm connecting the slants to reach the 2 inches line, and then we're going to add 2 inches all the way to the end, just as you see me doing. And then we're going to connect it and curve the crotch area. So guys, this is what you ought to have, and then we're going to go ahead right now and cut this out. Okay, so guys, this is what you ought to have. I'm gonna head to add pockets for this to these trousers. I have a video on that, you can go and watch it. It's my previous video on how to fix pockets to a trousers. Okay, so guys, we're going to go ahead and join this together. So I'm gonna head to flip it, and we're just going to open it up. Now you're going to join the crotch area for both the front and the back. Okay, you're going to stitch by 1/2 inch on the crotch area. So just stick this to your machine and stitch by 1/2 inch on both the front and the back. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And right now I've done that, and this is what we have. Okay, so I'm gonna head to stitch by 1/2 inch, and the next thing we're going to do is to open this up. You're going to open the front and the back up, just as you see me doing. So guys, you're going to open this up, and then you're going to join the mid parts. Okay, so you're going to open up the mid parts and you're going to join it together. So when you're joining it, you have to open the seams and put the front and the back to be equal. Okay, so they have to align. The front has to align with the back, just as you see me doing, and you're going to stitch it by 1/2 inch on both sides. Okay, you stitch it by 1/2 inch on both sides, and then you're going to start stitching from the middle. You take it side by side, start from the middle and you go side by side like that. Ensure you align it. Okay, so guys, I've gone ahead to do that, and this is what we have. Next thing we're going to be doing is to join the sides. Okay, as you can see, the back is bigger than the front, so you're going to align it. Okay, so for the 1/2 inch we stitched at the midpoint, I went ahead to double this stitch. I stitched on top. This is to ensure that it's very tight and it doesn't loose. Okay, this is optional. If you don't like it, it's not compulsory. Okay, so guys, next thing we're going to do is to join the sides. Okay, for your pockets you can also top stitch on it so it does not lose. Okay, so for the pockets you have to bring the front to align with the back. Okay, and you're going to stitch that on both sides. As you can see, the back is bigger than the front, so you're going to have to adjust them to align, and then you're going to stitch on both sides. Okay, stitch by half an inch on both sides. You're going to do it for the right side and the your left side. Okay, so go ahead and do for both sides, and I'll come and show you guys what I have. So guys, I've gone ahead to do that, and this is what you ought to have. When you keep your trousers, you see that the back is bigger than the front, and that is how it ought to be. So guys, next thing I'm going to do now is to flip this over. So guys, this is it. After flipping it, this is what you ought to have. As you can see, the back is bigger than the front. You can give this a very good press. It will look really good. Now next thing I want to do is we're going to be hemming the trousers. Okay, we're going to hem the trousers and fix the band. That's what's left for this tutorial. So guys, we're going to also be fixing the band, and this is my band right here. I've gone ahead to cut that. So guys, I've gone ahead to hem the trousers and you can see my trouser hem is big. It's about 1 inch big, and that's how I like it. So now we're going to be fixing the band. My band is about 5 inches wide, 22 inches wide. My band width is 5 inches and the length is 22 inches. Now to determine the length, you're going to take the length of your waist. Okay, so unfold. The length of my waist is 22 inches. The round of my waist is 22 inches. Okay, so unfold. My band is also going to be 22. I added half inch for joining, and as you can see I have 5 inches for the width and 22 inches for the 22 and a half inches for the length. Okay, so ensure that you have add that half inch. Okay, so guys, this is what we have. And unfold, ensure that the right side of the band, that's this side, is I have to ensure that it's facing the right side of the fabric, and the other side that has this print the wrong side. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and join it to my trousers. Okay, and this is what you ought to have. I used elastic and rope. If you want to see a tutorial on how I did this, I'll be uploading it next after this video. So guys, this is what you ought to have. So guys, this is what it ought to look like. So guys, you're going to be ironing this out. As you can see, I haven't ironed it, and please ensure that you weave the inside of these trousers. The fabric I'm using is fraying, and as you can see, it's coming out. I have to weave it, and this is what you ought to have. Thank you so much guys for watching. Kindly like, share and subscribe, and I'll be seeing you in my next one. Bye.